Welcome to Taiwan Education and Culture. Today we were going to talk about Chapter 6 and the Lesson 3, Curriculum. Okay, let's begin. In this section, we will focus on the reform of curriculum for the past about 20 years. What happened of the educational reform in Taiwan for the past 20 years? So I think the curriculum will be the very important part of the reform. In 2001, the government promulgated a set of guidelines called 9 years spiral curriculum for grade 1 through grade 9 in order to integrate the elementary to junior high school curriculum, which means before, the old curriculum, we have separate this kind of the curriculum guideline, and they did not connect to each other, like elementary for elementary and junior high for junior high. So we need to integrate. The guideline aim to help students to develop self-understanding, respect for others, self-expression, a capacity for lifelong learning, respect for others, for the law, and global perspectives. And there are 7 major learning areas under the 9-year spiral curriculum, which means before we just look at the subject as a subject. For example, Chinese is Chinese, English is English, mathematics is mathematics. Now we have tried to organize it into 7 areas. So the first one, you can see we have put the Chinese, English together. The second one is about the health and the physical education. The third one, social study, is like history, geology, and the art and the humanities like painting, music, and mathematics. And the 6th one is the nature and the life science. The 7th one is the integrated activities like club or association time. And the changes in the curriculum, in addition to the 2001 guidelines, new teaching methods and the wide selection of textbook has been introduced. Today, each school has its own curriculum development committees, which they will review the teaching material in light of the school's individual approach and the needs of students. And I would say the individual development curriculum committee, they will try to set up the curriculum, the feature or the characteristics of the school. So we will call this as a school-based curriculum. So in addition to the content that provided by the textbook, then each committee in each individual school, they will try to develop their own school-based curriculum, and that was decided by this committee. And there are also changes in the English learning. In the 2001 guideline, English learning also went through important changes. Since 2002, the students of junior and senior high school were encouraged to take the General English Proficiency Test, so we call the GEPT, for the recognition of English learning. 4 skills of English learning, this is very important, was addressed now, including listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Which means before, in the old curriculum, there are only reading and for the most time is about the reading. So very few about the writing and very few for the speaking. So I think the curriculum changed, has focused on the competences, is more comprehensive. Then after the 9-year spiral curriculum has been carried out for already more than 15 years, so I think the scholars are trying to develop the new curriculum guideline because we are trying to extend the 9-year curriculum guideline to cover the 12-year basic education. So this is quite new. New curriculum of 12 years basic education was published in 2014, and it was fully implemented in 2019, which means the first grade and the 7th grade and the 10th grade, who are the students, they will encounter with the new curriculum in 2019, while the others will also carry out the 9-year curriculum. Okay, so I will mention there's a slight changes between the 9 years and the 12 years education, the basic education and the curriculum. So we changed from the 7 to 8 learning domain. So the 12 years basic education, they got 8. You can see besides the Chinese, English, that is the old one, we have added the indigenous language, including the dialect, mother tongue. So that kind of the indigenous language, already like the local native language already included before this, but we added extra is about the mother tongue. So if the student's mother, they are from Southeast countries, they can ask the school to provide the language for their children. The other change is about the we separate the natural science and the life science. Yeah, so we divided into 2. That's why it become 8 domains. The rest are the same. And it is very important to mention about the core competencies of the 12-year basic education. I think the basic concept behind the 12-year basic education related to these core competencies. And we have noticed that the concept of the core competencies in this new education guideline, they emphasize lifelong learning. These competencies are divided into 3 broad dimensions. We can see the focus on the spontaneity and communication and the interaction, and the third one is social participation. which is our 3 very important competencies. As you can see here, I will just put up the definition why these 3 core competencies are so important. The first one, spontaneity. Students should learn the most appropriate method of learning for him or for her. Conduct systematic thinking to solve problems and possess the creativity and the initiative. So that's the meaning that spontaneity will help our students can learn their way of the learning and also has initiate this kind of the learning in order to better their systematic thinking. And the second one is about the communication and the interaction. That means the students can use a variety of physical and social cultural tools to interact effectively with others and the surrounding environment. And the third one, social participation, which means the students should learn to accept diversity in society in order to cooperate and interact with people with different background. So you can understand that the communication and the interaction is very important competencies because we are now in its global society, globalization, and we have used the computer or internet, this kind of the tool to learn more or do more effectively and express your own opinion to gather your own knowledge. The third one is about the social participation is also important because we are in this more complex society. So we should try to better our knowledge and understanding of others. They have a different background, different cultural value, so that we can have promote this kind of the civil society, yeah, which is very important issue in Taiwan. That's for today's content, and I have 2 questions for you. The first one is what are the key features for 9-year spiral curriculum developed in 2001 in Taiwan? So think about the curriculum. You may find out we try to develop the 7 domain for the curriculum, and then we try to encourage each school, they form their own curriculum committee and they can choose their own textbook, and also they will develop their school-based curriculum for themselves. Okay, so that's just one of the example related to the key features. And the second question for you is what are the core competencies for 12-year curriculum guidelines? It's developed in 2014. Okay, you can recall or turn the slide back to that. Remember, the one is spontaneity. The students develop the initiative in learning or develop their own learning method. And the second one is about the communication and the interaction. right? As a social part. And the third one is about the social participation, to prepare each students to become very active citizen in the future. Yeah. Okay, that's for today. Thank you for the listening.